Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Sanj and today we're going to do a really quick video on brokerage. I recently did a video on CommSec trading and that's the platform I use. And I touched a bit on brokerage and I said I'll do another video going into a bit more detail around brokerage. That's what this video here is. I've thrown up a little quick graph here on Excel where I'll talk to you about what brokerage is and how brokerage fees vary across different companies that you can do or you can use for your brokerage when trading shares. So what is brokerage at the most basic level? Brokerage is basically the fee that you'll pay whenever you do a transaction on the share market. Now the brokerage fees vary depending on which company you're going with. There's different ones for Commonwealth Bank, for NAB's one, for Westpac's one, for ANZ's one. They all have different fee structures. Now if you wanted to, you can go to each one's website. So for example, you go to CommSec's website where they show you between $0 and $1,000, it's $10, $1,000 and $10,000, it's $20, between $10,000 and $25,000, it's $30. You can see that variation there. NAB, they actually show it in a few different ways. On their main page, they show you how they're very competitive up to around the $5,000 mark. But if you want to go into a bit more detail, they have it in another page where they go into a bit more detail around their brokerage fees and how it varies. Westpac shows it to you in their PDS and it's basically $20 up until $20 is no longer the best option for them and then they start charging you 0.11%. And then you have ANZ Etrade who is a heavy hitter and they just flat out charge you $20 all the way up to $5,000. Then they charge you $25 all the way up to $10,000. So it's a interesting thing that ANZ Etrade does. Obviously if you're trading larger quantities more frequently, they actually give you a slight discount, but we'll just pay attention to that first and only trade that you may be doing per month. So to summarize this, I've done this quick chart in Excel where I've tried to take all the information and put it into one graph to give you it in a quick hit. And along the x-axis, along the bottom, I've got the purchase value. So how much are you spending on trades? And the brokerage is how much of that trade is going towards brokerage. So how much of that is dead money basically? Because remember, all the companies are pretty much doing the same thing. Whether you pay $10 in brokerage or whether you pay $50 in brokerage, you get the same value. They do the transaction for you and they give you the shares or sell the shares on your behalf. There's no benefit. There's literally no benefit to paying more or less in brokerage. It's just how the companies will make more money off you the more money you're spending. So this graph in a very clear fashion shows you between $500 and $1,000, you're better off with going with a company like Commonwealth Bank because their brokerage as a percentage of your transaction is lower. Anything between $1,000 and $5,000, NAB Trade starts to become more attractive because you can see that they're actually lower per trade than Commonwealth Bank, ANZ or Westpac. And that's where NAB is obviously trying to play in that $1,000 to $5,000 space and trying to position themselves there to be more attractive to the everyday Australian consumer. Then over $5,000, you start to see NAB, Westpac and CommSec are pretty much the same. And anything over $10,000, it becomes being only Westpac and NAB. And Commonwealth Bank and ANZ's Etrade start to become less competitive. Now, unfortunately, when you look at this graph, you never see a point where the grey line, which is ANZ's E-Trade platform, is lower than everyone else. And that's the idea, right? You want lower for the same amount of value of transaction. And that's something I learned, unfortunately, in retrospect, because when I started trading with ANZ E-Trade when I started trading shares. And unfortunately, I was basically getting ripped off relative to their competitors. Now, I started because purely I was already doing my banking with ANZ E-Trade. I really liked their Asian push back in the day, but that's a side note. Anyway, I started going with ANZ Etrade and then it was only down the track I realized, oh, actually CommSec is a better deal for that $0 to $1,000 space. Yeah, I prefer to trade about $1,000 per month in transactions. Now, yes, I can hang on to more than $1,000 and maybe spend $2,000, $3,000 in a transaction and then it'll come out better. And you can see that in terms of I'd be down around here and sometimes I do that. But I generally trade in the $0 to $1,000 space, and that's why I prefer to go with CommSec. Now, it's actually even better with Commonwealth Bank. They have a pocket app, but that app only has, I think, $2 in brokerage, but there's a limited amount of companies you can buy with when you go through that app. But like I was saying, when you look at ANZ's Etrade platform, it's never competitive. It's actually never competitive under any price point, at least up to $15,000. Maybe over that it is, but from what I can see, it never is. So I just wanted to point that out for you guys. Look, for most of you, you might be thinking, do I need to worry? No, I mean, look, if you're going to be holding your shares, you buy shares and you're going to hold it for the next 50 years, it probably doesn't matter because you're only looking at 0.67 versus 0.5%, differences. This is a very small amount if you're going to make a 20% gain one day and you're going to sell it down the track. But I just wanted to point it out just so that you're more informed. And I think that's the key takeaway from this is whichever company you go with, just make sure you're informed about the fee structure. And you can check that at their website where they'll tell you for these amounts, this is how much we're going to be charging you. And then from that, you can decide what you're going to go with. That's it for today, guys. I don't want to labor the point. There's not too much more information than that there. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like the video, and it really helps the algorithm and shows me that these videos are hitting home for a few of you. If there's any other specific questions, please feel free to comment below and subscribe for future videos. I'm going to keep doing more of these videos around investing and personal finance, and I aim to do them once a week. So if you subscribe, you can stay up to date and you can see those videos as they come through. Bye for now.